I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. And all the roads we have to walk are winding, and all the lights that lead us there are blinding. And there are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. But maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall.
All right, welcome back to Morning Coffee. I have clearly not had enough coffee on this kind of somewhat gloomy day in Virginia Beach when I'm recording this. And of course, it might not be the exact day that it's airing because sometimes I just need to get ahead on content because I have a busy life. Question for you though, if I were to partner with a coffee company and I were to create a sort of Lionheart blend, a morning coffee blend that was, of course, single origin. I'm telling you, I'm a huge coffee snob. Would you guys be down to buy it? Just curious. Let me know at @RickAlexander_ on Instagram. If so, then maybe that's something that I'll start doing. I've been approached by a couple coffee companies. And I don't know. I don't know if it's something we need or not, but it might be something that would be really cool to create and have a little say in the actual blend of things. Because I like whiskey and I like chocolate, and I sort of want to add those two things into the flavor. Anyway, we'll see. That's for another day. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to talk about whether it's worth it for you to go after all of the things in life that you want to. So there's a pretty pragmatic conversation that takes place around success that I've noticed because I've listened to a lot of podcasts and things like that. And one thing that's become sort of popular is this idea that we should not encourage people to just drop everything and go after what they're passionate about. They shouldn't burn the ships Cortez style, only go forward, because the people that are telling you to do that, the people that have done that in their life and found success, are actually a very small minority. So for every one person that's quit their job and started a business and crushed it and gotten the exact life they wanted, there's 100,000 people out there that have ended up in dismal failure, have lost everything, and have not been successful. And that's a very pragmatic argument. But I don't always live on pragmatism alone, because our life can't always be explained by reductionist methods. So science uses what's observable and repeatable. And in my life, what I've experienced is that all the emotions that make us human, this human experience that we have, it can't be reduced to that all the time. Sometimes there has to be an element of passion and of saying, fuck it, this is what I want, and so I'm going to create it and I'm going to build it. And I think that it's important that we recognize that, because I think if you live too far in one side or the other, if you're too pragmatic or you're too emotionally driven, then you can end up in some pretty unsavory spots. But my argument for whether you should go after what you want or not is actually different. It's not based on success or failure. It's based on what you're going to learn while you go after all the things in life that you think that you want to. Because I have the firm belief that I think everybody deep down knows exactly what they want to do in life and who they want to be. It might not be easy for you to recognize it, and you might not be able to pull it up. We're exposed to a lot of technology, a lot of inputs, a lot of people telling us what we should be and what we should want every single day. And so it's really hard for us to get quiet enough to figure out those things. But I've gone through exercises where I've unplugged for weeks at a time, and I've done nothing but meditate and figure out who I wanted to be. And the crazy part is, after about 72 hours of being unplugged, I've actually come up with answers. And I thought I had no fucking clue before I went into this. I was completely lost. I've gone through exercises where I had to picture my ideal life and my ideal self and exactly what I wanted my day-to-day to be. And although I felt like I have no fucking clue, what I realized is actually when I got quiet enough, I kind of did. And so clearly the first step to going after the things you want is figuring out what those things are. And I'm hoping some of the content that I produce here and some of the exercises that I talk about will help you do that. All right, so let's put that aside for a minute and go back to the original question. Should you build or create or do the things in life that you've always wanted to? Because the chances are that they're not going to end up successfully. The chances of you becoming especially if you look at the top end, but the chances of your business working out, like the odds are always stacked against you. But the truth is, and if I'm being super honest here, the truth is the odds have always been stacked against you. The chances that you even came to be in this human experience are so ridiculous. The chance that you were the sperm that found the egg, literally, there's so many zeros in that probability that our minds can't even fathom the chances that we actually ended up here, because zeros and ones just lose their relative magnitude when they're expanded out over time. And so that's one argument for yes, you probably should, because the chances that you're here at all are pretty incredible. But we're gonna put that one aside as well. When I was building my supplement company, I thought that I was building my house. I thought I was building the thing that was gonna be my legacy, my life, and I was putting so much time and effort into it. I was working. And once, as I talked about on another episode, once I started losing it, once I started having that thing pulled away from me and I had to focus more on the military because of demands of the job, of whatever, and I started getting burned out, I started to reflect on that process and be like, what in the fuck did I just do all of that for? What was all of that effort for if I'm not actually building my legacy, if I thought I was? And how many times do we do that with relationships too? Like a relationship we'll go through a relationship and then it'll end and we'll think, what a fucking waste of time. Why did I waste so much time on that person? Years of my life. But the reality is a movie isn't worse because it comes to an end. And in fact, if a movie continued on forever, you'd probably hate it. You probably wouldn't like it at all, right? Because it's okay for things to end. That is this life. Everything is ephemeral in this life. Everything is going to end. The truth is, we should be thinking about, what did we learn in the experience? What did we learn in the process? Because although a relationship ended, the good times didn't, right? And you can think back and think, what a waste of my fucking time. Same thing with a business. Or you can think about all of the things that you learned and all of the things that you were able to do and all of the moments of joy and ecstasy and all of these different things that you were able to glean from that experience. And that's what's interesting about my business too. I look back and I thought I was building my house. The reality is I was just building the foundation. I was laying bricks for the ground floor. And that's what you might be doing in a relationship too, because you have no idea the future that you might be slated for, except you might need all of the lessons that you learned from going after the things that you wanted in life in order to be successful in that moment. Because you're probably pretty stupid about the things that you really want before you go after them. Like if you start a business and you've never done it before, the chances are that you probably don't know shit about running a business. So even if your business doesn't work out like you had thought or like you'd wanted it to, or at all necessarily in the conventional sense of success, you might be pulling things that you need to know, character traits, wisdom, technology, all of these different things that are going to position you well for a better future, for the next thing that comes along, for the pivot, right? And life is constantly us just figuring out how to pivot. Same thing with relationships. It might have ended and you might feel like that was a waste of time, but chances are you can look back and think about a whole bunch of shit that you actually did wrong in that relationship. And so hopefully when you meet the next person that is going to be exactly what you wanted them to be, then hopefully you're a little bit less of a shithead. Hopefully you have more experience and you've built character traits that are going to allow you to harbor and to be a better person in the next relationship. Sometimes I've talked to people that have worked a job forever and then they've quit and then they've started a business and the business has worked out. And they're like, God, I only wish I would have started earlier. I wish that I would have done this back when I first had the idea. And that might be true, but you might have learned a whole bunch of shit at your regular job that you needed in order to be successful now. And so life is constantly like working on what we want and being open to what we're learning in the process. Because the truth is that a lot of times when we're building the house that we think we're going to live in, we're actually just laying the foundation. And then the house is so much better than we thought it could ever be that alone is reason enough to continue laying the bricks. So no, what you want might not work out. The person you want, the relationship you want, the life that you want, it might end in failure in the conventional sense. But as long as you can reframe that failure as learning, then going forward, you're going to be poised to do something even better. And for that reason alone, I think that it's always worth pursuing all the things that you've ever wanted to. And I'll talk to you tomorrow on Morning Coffee.